Hey everybody, 4D Sparky here, and welcome to week 4 of my video tips of the week. And we're going to be talking about a couple of clone tricks that you can use when you're using the clone tool in post. Now on the left here side of the screen you can see a photograph that I've taken of a small waterfall that I took in Black Hills a few years ago. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I want to get rid of this green patch over here of plants. Now I could take my clone tool and let me resize it here a little bit and start cloning through here. But you see a repetition in the pattern. This leaf right here got repeated 2, 3, 4, 5 times doing that. How do you keep from getting a repeating pattern? Well, it's very simple. Let me back out of that. And what I do is I make a duplicate image. I always clone off of a duplicate. Let me throw that up here to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. The first thing I do generally is I flip the image. Now I'm working with a mirror image. So a repeating pattern is not going to be as obvious as a mirrored image. Now you'll notice that the angle here is different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the image. I'm going to paste it right back on there. And I'm going to move that until it is in the center of my image. And then I'm going to rotate that copy until it roughly matches what I have here. So this is about the same angle as this. Now I can come in with my clone tool, and I'm going to start about right here. I'm going to go to my one that I want to copy, and I can just start wholesaling cloning that area. And I don't have any repetition. Now that's kind of a little bit of a trick there that I've used for picking up on some clone ideas. I'm going to back this out to where it's just a duplicate. And here on my original, down in the bottom left, there is a little stone retaining wall that's held in with a wire mesh, and I want to get rid of that. And again, I could take my clone tool and let's say start up here and just start copying what's in part of the picture. But again, we have repetition. This stick is repeated, this stone is repeated, these stones are repeated, and this stick here is repeated. So how do I get rid of that? Same thing. I duplicate my image, I flip it around. I'm going to take this part of the image that I want to clone from and put it in the middle, and again rotate it so this part of the image is kind of flowing the same direction. I'm going to rotate it, and then when it's done I'm going to take my clone tool and I'm going to start about right here. And I'm just going to start cloning right through here. Now I have no repetition of the pattern and a very convincing clone, because what I have copied is rotated and mirror imaged. So that is going to be far less noticeable in my finished product. With GIMP that I'm using here is Control D. I think it's image duplicate in Photoshop. So that's one way to do it. That's one way to use it. But just remember that you can do a lot of different things with your duplicate image. Let's say, for instance, that I want to get rid of this painting on the wall. And the problem I have is the bricks up here are going to be at too much of an angle this direction. The bricks down here are going to be too much of an angle here. The bricks on either side are going to be the right angle, but they're going to be a different size. How do we get around that? Simple. We make a duplicate image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this image. And I'm going to resize it 80%. Now, how do I know to do 80%? It's real simple. I simply measured the pixels from here to here. And then I compared that to the number of pixels from here to here. And this is 80% of that distance. That tells me that I need to reduce the pixels 80%. I'm going to pick up my clone tool. Come over here. I'm going to resize the tool a little bit. And I'm going to start picking up my image here. And then I'm going to come back over here. And I'm just going to start painting in the cloned bricks. And you can see they line up pretty good. Now, it may take a little bit more tweaking if you want to make it perfect. But because I resized where I'm cloning from to match where I'm cloning to, I have a rather convincing area that I've cloned, and you really have to look hard to really see that it's a clone. In fact, there is a row right here of half bricks, and it lines up pretty good. Now, obviously, if you want to spend a little bit more time, you can make it a little bit more perfect. But that's how you can use a duplicate image and manipulate your duplicate image for the origin of your clone, where you copy from, and you can come up with a better clone product and far less noticeable in the end. So this is 480 Sparky with your video tip of the week. Go forth and act.